Yo, yo, yo. I am back with the shenanigans once again. Welcome to another episode of the weekly batch analysis here. So, this week, I had a few trades. I don't remember exactly, but, well, my worksheets are going to help me with that. It's going to be very easy to remember. So, as always, I'm going to simply start with what happened last week. So, the good stuff was that I traded really good contacts and I was trading when there was good momentum. That's the goal always, of course. And what went bad? So I took a trade that was too late. This one? Yep, understandable. I mean, I talked about this before. This is literally the last area where I'm willing to get involved on any trade. If this one fails and comes back to here again, I'm most likely not going to take it. So, yeah, that was too late. Then there was one super ugly entry, apparently. Yep. I remember I was focused on seeing a reaccumulation. Well, the reaccumulation happened over here, right? And I thought, okay, once reaccumulation happens, I can jump in with a buy stop. And I totally forgot to pay any attention to the preceding price action, so it was very bad. Didn't pay attention during the session. Yeah, that probably resulted in missing a trade or something, I guess. And I took a weird entry. So, yes. Just this one with the huge wick before that. Very irregular, very much. Yeah, this was a gamble pretty much because literally none of my entries look like this. So, yeah, that was that. My results were plus 3.6, and had I traded perfectly, it would be plus 6. All right, well, not bad. So here we come into this week. I hit the results as to as always as to come into this analysis session without any bias because I think everybody has a bias if they already know whether it's a win or loss. So I don't want any of that, or at least I want to mitigate it as much as possible. So before I get into this, there are the instructions that I usually have for each week. So I'm just going to go over those really quick. Don't make mistakes. 1 hour per week is 50 hours saved a year, and that's more than I need for living. Yeah, I recently asked Anton about this as well during the webinar, and yeah, this was a realization that I had because week after week, when I look at my results, right, when I go over here and I see the result versus result, had I traded perfectly, every single time I see that I make some mistakes and they cost me at least one additional R. That one additional R takes a huge, and I mean absolutely huge, amount from your expected value. So even if it was just 1 R, that was like the thought experiment, right? It's more than that, actually. Like, I can just take a few looks. Okay, so here it's 2.4, here it's like 7, here it's like 1.2, nothing here, here it's 5, here it's, here it's negative, here is, okay, well, this is crazy, it's 12, this is crazy too. Here it's 2.2, here it's like, what, 3.2, here it's okay, good. Here it's zero point 0.4. Okay. But overall, on average, like I most definitely give up way more, way more than actually 1 hour every week. And if you extrapolate that into a full year, that's more than 50 hour at this absolutely like conservative number of 1 hour per week, and that's so much. Like even with a very conservative $300 per trade risk, that's more than $15,000. Of course, you need to take like subtract the what's it called, the profit splits from the prop, and you need to pay our taxes and all that. So it's not that much, but still, like the point stands. It's insane. It's just so much are given up. So really, my main goal from now on is to not make mistakes. That's like the number one thing. And I hope, I sincerely hope that I haven't made many mistakes this week. We'll see, I guess. But yeah, even if this takes another couple of months for me to train myself to really not make mistakes, so be it. I have the time, but this is something that I really want to get under control. So focus on the rules and not the R, of course, always, because, well, every time I focus on some kind of result, I totally fuck myself up in the head. Not just with trading, with anything. Like, for example, with chess, whenever I reach a certain rating and I'm at all-time highs, knowing that I'm at all-time highs, I get scared that I might lose more, and it affects me mentally. And well, it's just so stupid. I wish this wasn't the case. Anyway, yeah, capital preservation, of course. Check news, curate watch list, do not trade stage one, look for trending markets, only trade strong stage two reaccumulations, do not trade inconsistent moves. All of that I'm doing so well these days, I think. Evaluate liquidity based on E time frame, yes. And oh, this is the newest one actually. This is something that came in this week, and because of that I missed a trade, but it's something I haven't fully realized before, so I immediately that day I wrote this down for myself, but I will get to that. All right, so let's just get into the analysis, I guess. So on Monday, right, there was some red news at, well, this was ages ago. Yeah, AUD news, whatever. Irrelevant. My watch list was gold, silver, and NAS. So here I can just quickly look at the kind of context that I was trading. I think these are all beautiful trending markets, so I don't see a problem with that at all. That looks very nice. So let's get into the actual trades. And yes, I removed the result, so I don't know the result. So let's jump into Miro and just analyze what's up. So I already talked about the context, right? But here, very strong stage two. I'm looking at the 4 hour here because basically I already decided I want to follow this move. So I just want to find a time frame that really nicely shows the move that I'm trying to follow. That's this one. Very strong stage two. Here it reaccumulates, right? Goes sideways. This, in my opinion, is a clear reset. And here, basically, my expectation is that this can go on further. So let's take a look at the 6 minute. So this is the 4 hour, this is the 6 minute. Okay, so I guess this little sideways over here is what I'm looking at. And here we have a strong stage two that goes sideways. This is most definitely a reaccumulation. Then it breaks out and it continues on huge momentum, right? We probably have MMB1 and this whole thing is MMB2. So I'm more than happy to trade this. This is very good. This is one of my favorite places to trade, so I don't see an issue with that. Let's take a look at the 1 minute. So very, very strong stage two. Absolutely beautiful. 100% I want to trade this. Then it starts reaccumulating, pulling back in a very nice, like wavy fashion, very consistent pullback, and then demand reignition. Exactly what I want to see. And then we have a pullback into the rising EMAs, and I go to the 10-second and I check out my entry. Very strong stage two. Looks like somebody pressed the buy button. Exactly what I want to see. Pulls back, loses its momentum cycle, creates a stage one over here, and here it creates this beautiful, beautiful DMB. I absolutely love this trade. So good. I think everything was met here, all the rules. So yeah, beautiful. Here I'm gonna say, mm, what do I usually say here? Strong context or good trend? Whatever, good context, most definitely. Here we have very strong momentum. Here we have very good momentum. And here we have a perfect entry. Perfect entry. All right. So I would rate this. I could probably remove this. I would rate this trade as perfect. Yes, perfect. So let's take a look over here. That's this trade. And skip this earlier setup, although it looks quite clean. Okay, so yeah, this is not my type of entry. I don't buy stop the accumulation schematic itself. I usually let it break out and pull back, and then as my confirmation, as it breaks higher, that pullback is a confirmed reaccumulation, right? So that's my entry. So this was actually not good. Doesn't matter. This setup looks perfect, even if it ends up being a loss. Yes, so I take the entry, get tapped in, and instantly fucked up for a -1. Okay, so that's a -1. And let's mark it up. So high time frame context was, I started using this thing with the waves. So Here, I would say after the reaccumulation, this was wave one, pulls back, and this is wave two. All right, so this is wave two, and it's good. The context, uh, 1 second. Oh yeah, the context over here was definitely very, very strong, and this is wave one, two, three. Well, well, this is stage one, two. So yeah, this is trying to get into wave three, and it's good momentum. The entry itself over here, right? Whatever this is, I don't need to really talk about the waves here, I guess, but this is very, very good. Definitely very good momentum. And entry wise, yep, this was perfect. Perfect entry. Boop. So management, didn't I have a perfect here before? Why is it not here? Hmm. Let's just write it, I guess. I made some changes, so maybe that's fine. Make that green. All right, so perfect. So overall, yeah, management was perfect as well. So overall, this trade deserves a perfect. Okay, moving on, we got another gold trade. So it's all in the same day. Yeah, this is all on Monday. So what's gonna change here? Let's take a look. So I guess we can go to the 1 minute here. So the previous entry was taken over here. Yep, makes total sense. And then I was still willing to take something like this. I would be willing to do that, but that doesn't quite happen. And here it just starts going sideways, sideways, sideways for stage one. And here it breaks out. And this is MMB1 here and MMB2 here. So most definitely I can trade this. I was looking for an entry here in the MMB1, but I didn't get any. But here, as it breaks into MMB2, I'm totally valid to trade this. And this entry I see as this is MB1. Actually, I usually do it like this. So this is MB1. Make that white and dot it. Thank you. And this is MB2. And this, in my opinion, is perfectly fine. Well, actually, is there any inefficiency? Oh, I made one change. I took off the yellow bars here, which show inefficiency from my E time frame, and I put on no gap candle, so just so it looks nicer. But now I realize why I was using that indicator in the first place, and it's so that I can see inefficiency. But yeah, most definitely there was inefficiency right over here. So yeah, this was a valid entry. No problem with that. I thought there is no inefficiency, which is a critical part of my entry, but there is, so it's fine. So good context, good momentum, and perfect entry, in my opinion. Yeah, definitely. So this is another perfect trade. I like this a lot. So it's this one. So let's see how I managed. Taps me in and instantly fucks me up for -1. All right. Well, that's unfortunate. So this is perfect. Okay. I'm not sure I'm gonna do these wave thingies. It seems a little tedious, to be honest. Meh, I don't know. I'm just gonna call context as good, of course. This is good momentum. V is good momentum as well, and E was perfect entry. So management-wise, that was perfect as well. So overall, this trade deserves a perfect. Cool. And I forgot to tap in this. So yeah, this is good, and this is good as well. Okay. So next trade, same day still. And what happened since? So we had, God damn it. Okay, so we had this move over here, and I took a trade over here, but it reaccumulated for longer. That's totally cool. Like, if it liquidates some lows over here, is totally fine, is expected. As long as it's above the rising EMAs, I'm okay to trade it. So here, what happens? So this is the reaccumulation, and this is the move that started up. Now, if this pulls back, whether it bounces from here or whether it goes here or whether it absorbs. This looks like just an absorption of this level, like a liquidity grab. So I'm still completely valid. Like this, to me, this means it's holding. And from here, big momentum comes in and creates a beautiful DMB. I think this entry is really, really nice. Like it's exactly what I want to see. So this would be MB1 over here. Like maybe if I saw this on a 15-second or something, it would be even nicer. But yeah, clearly the underlying price action is very clear. Like we have an MB over here, a move higher, an MB over here. So this is a perfect DMB. I love it. So this trade is perfect as well. Good, good. And the result is, let's see, took 2 losses already, so I hate taking another trade here. Feels bad, but rules is rules, and I gotta take it. Yep, I remember. It felt pretty bad. And this taps me in, and pretty much instantly fucks me up. Maybe there's an argument to be made that I could have broken even here, but mm, mm, honestly, not enough strength away from my entry. That's not how I break even usually. So if it was the liquidation of this level over here, then yes, I would consider it because at that point I really don't want to see any risk, and I expect price to break through this the floating supply. And if it doesn't, I'm happy to get out of that trade. But that was not the case here. So yeah, just a regular -1. Everything was good though. Mm, yeah. So this is also a perfect trade. The result is -1. Okay, cool. So that's 3 losses in a row. That kind of sucks, but what can you do? Next trade. Again, it's gold. So what has changed? Let me take a look. So on the 6 minute, we clearly broke into a new high here compared to the last trade. So we have a new high here. This is the 1 minute. And what happened here? So we had the initial break, and then it went sideways, then another break, and went sideways again, another break, and sideways again. Something is just so weird about this trade. I don't know. Like it's just I don't know, it just consistently shows me that whenever it moves higher, it does something like this. So the moment it moves higher over here like this, the expectation should probably be this, right? But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, okay, so it broke into a new high here, created another stage one, clearly a reaccumulation, and big momentum comes in. Okay, here on the 10 second, I have big momentum. That looks nice. Breaks down, definitely liquidates something over here, and then it creates this beautiful DMB. DMB is perfect, in my opinion. So, I mean, this is good. This is good. There's a little bit like of this. You can also see that, yeah, that's what I have a problem with. That's what I have a problem with for sure. Okay, makes sense. So here I was looking at it on the 1 minute, and I'm like, it's a little bit weak, right? It looks weird. And yes, if we take a look at the 6 minute, where I want to follow a strong stage two, just like on every market, right? I want a strong stage two. Well, guess what? This is not a strong stage two. This is garbage. This is just dragging its balls higher. It's very, very choppy. So getting involved on this trend is literally asking to get chopped up, right? Because that's what it's doing. So yeah, that's what I have a problem with. And yeah, this was not a good trade. So the context over here was very good, of course. The context is the same on the day, but here it's actually very, very choppy and weak. Mm, weak. Yes, and I'm also going to mark it up here. This part is weak. Something like this. Okay. Weak as fuck. Choppy. Alright. So that I have a problem with. The 1 minute, very much the same. Weak and choppy. And the entry I think was perfect. That was a very nice entry. So overall, I most definitely think this is a mistake. I didn't take it, so that's cool. Maybe I mark this up just so that I check it in the analysis and I actually wouldn't take it. But I remember that like after these three losses, I kept watching the market even though my rules tell me I cannot trade it anymore. And I guess I was getting a little bit emotional, not gonna lie. But I did not let it affect me in any way. I actually stick to my rules of not trading. But I guess just to cope with it a little bit, I documented the trades, which is completely fine. I will just go over it right now, and what I will actually realize that taking this trade would have been a mistake, and well, that's wrong, right? I don't want to be making mistakes. So the fact that I didn't take it is very, very, very good because this was not a good trade. So let's take a look at it. How did I manage? Reduced risk, but probably got slipped quite hard. I see. Well, I didn't take it, so I couldn't see how hard I would have gotten slipped. But these type of entries, they usually slip very, very hard, especially since this is a 10 second. So I would expect maybe even to get filled right where price is right now, or probably a little bit lower. So yeah, good thing that I didn't take it, and it would end up being a spread loss, and it would be a huge spread loss because of the slippage. So this would be like a minus zero point 0.6, I guess. Yeah, something like that. So that would suck. Okay, so this was a spread loss, and this was good that I didn't take it. Yep. So context-wise, it was very good. But then this stuff, the 1 minute and the 6 minute. So the entry was perfect, I remember. But this was what? This was. Do I have weak stage 2 here? I don't. That's crazy. Weak, weak preceding stage 2. That's what I always say. I should definitely have that here. It's one of the main reasons why I don't take something. Okay. Week preceding stage 2. Uh, actually, man, I don't know. I'm derping. I definitely have just, yeah, I just have weak here. That was a derp. All right, so just gonna call it weak and choppy. And same with validation. Validation was also weak and choppy. Where is it? Weak and choppy. Okay, so that overall makes it a mistake because it's weak and choppy. Yes, sir. Okay, nice. Next trade. Also gold. Okay, so let's take a look what happened afterwards. So it's the same story. It's the same story, right? I mean, yes, it had a little bit of a pop over here, but let's just count, right? This is MMB1, MMB2, MMB3, MMB4, and now it's coming back for a reaccumulation from the point where where the demand zone was created. And while yes, I do technically have a rule that allows me to get in over here, that's for the E, right? But is this a 1 minute entry? Well, it's both, kinda. Doesn't really matter. I just checked the 10 second to see the reaccumulation that it liquidated some lows, which is one of the rules that I have. But yeah, here basically, the reason why this trade is bad is because it's already overextended on this little trend over here. And two, its preceding stage 2 is ugly as fuck, so I should not have traded this. I should have waited for a completely new reaccumulation that does a little bit of nonsense over here, like a stage 1, and then I could get involved. This was already overextended, and yeah, this was not good. So I'm glad I didn't take it. So yeah, good context, most definitely. But again, just like before, it was choppy and it was weak. And once again, I really believe that the reason why I included this trade was because I was coping and I thought I'm missing out. Well, let's be very conscious about this. It's good that I didn't take this trade. I know that all kinds of feelings come into play, right? All kinds of emotions, and we really need to stay calm and not deviate from our rules. So if I had taken this, I would have broken my rules. But yeah, as a way of coping, I continued watching and documenting opportunities. And it's good that I did because, well, now I can see that they end up, well, I don't actually know if this is going to be a win or loss, but it doesn't really matter. Like, the overall EV of my mistakes is just not going to be good. So, yeah, anyway, here I'm just going to say weak choppy again. And the entry itself, I mean, this looks very, very different from how I usually enter. But actually, like the idea here is that as it comes back to the demand zone, right, I'm willing to take the first pop. And this would be normally 1 minute entry, which does kind of make sense. So this is just how it looks on the 10 seconds. So yeah, this is good. The entry is okay, but it's a little bit different. Like, I guess it look no, it's not different. Like the entry is the 1 minute, so I don't have to look at this. And here, well, actually, you know what? It seems like it's not even a good entry, to be honest. Like in order for this to be a valid MB, there would need to be a reaccumulation here, so a liquidation of this low, or maybe one more candle that liquidates this low. So no, this was actually an ugly entry as well. Yeah, this was a bad entry. Well, much wrong with this trade. A lot wrong. Okay, so let's take a look. So I didn't take this because it exceeded daily losses. So that was my explanation. But actually, I probably didn't take it. Well, I shouldn't have taken it anyway because it's fucking ugly. So, yeah. High time frame context is of course good. And here we go from the context, which is over here. Yeah. Weak, wiki, choppy, all of that. And on the validation, well, is it a validation or is it an entry? I guess I was using it. I don't know. It's just weird. I should. This is not what my entry looks like whatsoever. So, hmm. Also, I marked this up wrong. I went straight to whatever. The entry is ugly, and because it's not my setup, I guess. Yes, not my setup. Before that, it's this, and yeah, there it's very clearly um, it's weak, choppy, and wiki. Okay, so that's what I do with it. All right. I don't have much experience yet marking this up with the C1, C2 thingy, so I need to get a little bit used to the flow. But yeah, overall, this ended up. What did it actually do? I have no idea. So yeah, taps me in, not enough strength just yet. Chops around, and as it breaks into a new high, after the second candle, I feel comfortable enough to reduce risk. Here it pulls back a little bit. My rule to actually stay to reduce risk twice allowed me to stay in this trade, and as it breaks higher here, I reduce risk completely. And what? What? I say BE here, but what? Oh, I shared the wrong screenshot. I see. So let me take a look over here what it actually does. Okay, boop. Go back. Boop. Hide it. All right. So delete this, and this ends up being a break even. Cool. Break even, and the decision is good that I didn't take it because it was a mistake. And why was it a mistake? Well, because it was weak, choppy, ugly, and it wasn't really my setup. So weak and ugly entry. Yep. So very good that I didn't take it. Nice. Okay, moving on to the next trade. Actually, is there another trade? Oh, there are actually two more. Okay. So next trade over here is on NAS 100. So let's take a look. That's a new asset. So what kind of context do we have here? Well, we have a market that is clearly bullish and moving higher. Most recently had this huge wave one, pulled back, now wave two, right? So this is most definitely a trend that can continue quite a bit. Definitely not overextended. And here, decent stage two, pulls back, creates a stage one, exactly what I like to see. And here I'm willing to basically follow this higher. So what do we have here on the 6 minutes? So 6 minute, this is the stage one over here. I can probably do that nicer. Boop. This whole thing is a stage. I don't need to mark it up. It's already marked up. My bad. And yeah, as it breaks higher here, it looks a little bit compressed, but we're going to see that nicely on the 1 minute. It creates an MMB1 basically. So, whoop, so this whole thing creates an MMB1, and this is how it looks. So this looks very, very compressed for some reason. But yeah, decent stage 2, most definitely. And here it clearly reaccumulates, right? It liquidates something over here. So let's take a look how this actually looks like on the 10-second. That should give me a good picture of what this actually is. And okay, this is invalid. Yeah, this is invalid. This would be valid if it came over here above the rising EMAs as a continuation. But this, no, this is invalid. Because, well, for a reaccumulation, I have a very clear rule that says, okay, if I have a reaccumulation, there's going to be the lowest point of the sell-off, right? And from there, I'm going to expect this to go higher. And the expectation is this, of course, right? This is the expectation. But sometimes it comes back, and it comes back either here, or it comes back all the way to like a demand zone left behind, right? And it bounces over here. Or it even can liquidate this point very quickly for a spring and then go here. And this will be the last moment for me where I'm willing to trade. But the moment it loses this level is of critical importance for me. The moment that happens, that is lost momentum for me. And I basically need to see a whole new stage 2 develop and get into the reaccumulation of that one, if that makes sense. So this is most definitely wrong. I should not have taken this trade. And also, in order for this trade, even this part, to be valid, it needs to happen above the 1 minute EMAs. So this was not valid. Again, I was probably coping. And also, whew, did I take this? I didn't. Okay, I wonder why, but we'll see that. It gets really dangerous when I exceed my not daily loss limit, but asset loss limit, which I had 3 losses on gold. I was probably valid to trade NAS 100, but I will take the same kind of emotions from the gold losses to my next trade. So I need to be very, very careful. But here, I would say it's a good thing that I did not take this trade. So anyway, this is definitely good context. I like the context itself. I do like this one as well. The validation here. This is a stage 1 breakout on good momentum. Okay, but here, this is bad. This is bad. Yeah, I don't like this at all. This is, I will say, momentum fizzled, which is exactly what it is. And we can also see that over here. And I'm going to call this an ugly entry. Ugly why? Well, most importantly, because it's not my setup. So this is a mistake. Okay, so let's go into this. Do I have a C2? Yep, this is 10-second entry. So this was most definitely good. The context itself, oops, the context itself was stage 1 breakout. Yep, that was good. Validation was here. Validation was bad. So ugly, momentum fizzled. Do I have anything about EMAs? Nope. So I'm gonna say lost EMAs. That's another way of seeing momentum fizzled, but it's a good one. So yeah, lost EMAs. And the entry itself, well, was ugly because it is not my setup. So overall, this was a mistake because momentum fizzled and because of an ugly entry, which is not my setup. Cool. So it was good that I didn't take. And what was the result? Oh, okay. Okay. So I would have reduced risk over here. Yep, makes total sense. After this fractal break higher, it would be risk-free. And it would run to +5. All right. Result was a win, but it was a mistake. So that's all good. And last trade of the day is NAS 100 again. Okay, so let's take a look what's happening over here. I see, I see. So on the 6 minute, right, we had this MMB1 created over here. So now it's creating MB2, MMB2. So just going to mark that up here. And here we can see, so this was the previous entry that ran higher. And here we have this, which on the 1 minute, honestly, this looks ugly as fuck. Like compared to this at least had these pops, right? Quite a bit of inefficiency in there. No inefficiency here, a little bit over here, but like that's nothing. A little bit over here. But in general, not very strong. I don't like this at all. But then it comes back down here and reaccumulates. That makes sense. And here I see I get an entry. I can already tell there is going to be a significant difference between this entry and the previous one. And the reason for that is because here I can see a lower low. And that's very important because it's not going to be just like there's going to be a strong stage 2 here, like a big impulsive move that's going to reaccumulate. And that's my entry criteria, right? And yes, here we have it. So here it liquidated. Also, this is the type of entry that I really like, where it has a demand zone over here. It comes to the demand zone, liquidates it for a reaccumulation overall, and then it does this. So this part I like. This is like the pullback part, right? The pullback part and the entry I like a lot. What I don't like is the preceding stage 2. The preceding stage 2 is weak and wicky, so I would not have entered this. But this itself, right, as it liquidates, here we have MB1. This whole thing is MB1. It's a beautiful accumulation schematic. And here we have MB2, which dips below for a reaccumulation. Hello? Yep. For a reaccumulation, and then it pumps into the entry itself. So the entry itself is valid. I kind of like it. The problem is this stage 2. This is ugly as fuck, and I do not like getting involved in such price action. I like to get involved in impulsive moves that move away from the EMAs, that have weak pullbacks. This doesn't have weak pullbacks. Okay, look at this. Big pullback, huge pullback, before huge pullback. Well, but even before that, like it looks like there is so much supply in this market, and it's most definitely not one-sided. Yes, demand is overpowering supply, but that is just one part of the formula. The other critical part is that there is not significant supply in the market. So yeah, this was, in my opinion, a mistake. So good context and good stage 1 breakout, most definitely. That I like. That was good. Okay. But here it's weak. Okay, it's weak. This whole thing is weak. Weak stage 2. That's it. So because this is weak, I am disqualified from trading the pullback. But again, this part, the pullback part, is beautiful. This was completely valid, and I could have traded it if the preceding move was strong, which it wasn't. So yeah, and this is a 1-minute entry. All right, so overall, this was a mistake. Cool. So let's go over here. Why didn't I take it? Wasn't trading at that time. Okay, here as well, right? With the NAS. Yeah, I wasn't trading. I remember. I was driving to my mom's place. All right, so this was a 1-minute entry, so I start with C1 over here. So C1 was most definitely, what was it? Oh, stage 1 break. It was good momentum. Validation was most definitely good. Very good momentum, very strong. And entry, well, technically, if this is bad, the V should be bad as well, right? The 5-minute. And I guess you can see it here that it's very much like back and forth, very wicky, so to say. And the wicks are proof that the market is very, very choppy, very volatile. So this should probably not look that good either, but it looks kind of okay here, or at least it's difficult to see, but that's why we use different time frames to actually zoom into this price action and see it in higher resolution, right? And this price action, as we see it, it's very, very choppy. And yeah, I should not have get involved. So the E over here is what? I would say, first of all, it's ugly, and it's most definitely weak and wicky and choppy. So yeah, that's that. And I wasn't home for this. This is how I would have reduced risk. Yep, makes sense on this big candle, right? That's enough strength away from my entry. Then it breaks into a new high after reaccumulating, so I go risk free, and that would end up being a +5. Well, that sucks. You know, those are two trades in a row that captured a win that are technically not valid for me, but that's normal. You know, there are going to be things like that. So management wise, that would have been perfect. And it's good that I didn't take it because ultimately it was a mistake because it was weak, choppy, and wicky. Yeah. So cool. That means that I performed perfectly on Monday. So reflection, I took 3 losses in a row on gold, which sucks ass, but I believe rules were followed well. Yes, they were. Decided to take no more trades on gold, but will document that the valid trades if there are any. That's what I did. Holy fucking shit! I picked the worst time to drive to my mom's. Missed 2+5 trades. Ugh. Yeah, but thing is, I didn't. Like, it would be probably almost bad if I actually took these trades because I would get uh, reinforced, positively reinforced for making a mistake. And I would probably be like, oh yeah, but you know, I can probably include these types of trades. But in the long term, like we're talking hundreds and thousands of trades, this would be a very negative EV thing to do. So, or at least that's what I believe. So I didn't miss out on 2+5 trades. Okay, I'm trying to be as honest with myself here as possible, but honestly, these trades did not meet my rules, and that's for a reason. So I need to appreciate the overall batch analysis and not just these single trades, because if I just look at a single trade here, right, I'm gonna be disappointed that I missed out. But actually, no, I followed rules, and as I said in the beginning, I want to focus on the rules, not the R. And the rules were followed. Mistakes were not made. And that's the most important. So yeah, good stuff. I traded exactly as I wanted to. So good. That was Monday. Let's move on to Tuesday. So Tuesday there was quite a lot of red news. Looks like at 10:30 and 15:45. I was watching gold, NAS, and some cryptos. So if I take a look at the context here, all of this looks very much exactly like the types of contacts that I want to be trading, right? Clearly trending markets or markets that were previously going higher, went into a sideways market and are just breaking out from the stage one that we see over here on these two, maybe even on this one, and otherwise trending markets. Yes, these contacts look very, very good. I like them a lot. So trades, I only had one trade here. So it's trade on Aster. Cool. So let's take a look here. So here it's a relatively new coin, right? So 300, I don't even have to look at that. This is the entire price action, the entire history of the chart. Strong stage two that breaks down into a stage one. The expectation, of course, is this always, because the preceding move was bullish, then it goes to sideways price action. The expectation is reaccumulation. If it happened like this, my expectation would be redistribution. So here it breaks into a new high after all of this chop, returns back, and I use this. This is a 30-minute entry, actually. I remember. This is a 30-minute entry. Okay. And this is the context. I mean, what is there even to say, man? I'm probably just gonna. No, I have to comment on this. What is this? Stage one breakout on good momentum. Yeah. Okay. And here, yeah, this is like an entry. Okay, so there is a stage one over here, and then it creates the MMB1, and that's what I'm buy stopping, right? So stage one, MMB1. And I need this to be a reaccumulation, so a low needs to be liquidated. I guess that's why I'm looking at the 5 minute. That low got liquidated over here, so I'm very much valid to enter this as a momentum MB entry. And yep, that's what I do. So let's see how I manage this. So I am risk-free after the second strong candle. This is more than enough. And I remember this. This stays on for like 3 days, I believe. And it reaches like 4.7 R or some shit and comes all the way back. That's a bit unfortunate, but what can you do? Overall, rules were followed really, really well. So here's the entry, right? I would say that was a perfect entry. And the validation itself was a stage 1 breakout, was it? Well, actually, this is the entry. So here's the validation or the context. Yep, that's a stage 1 breakout. So context is a stage 1 breakout. Okay, cool. Management was perfect as well. So overall, this trade was perfect. Result was a break even, and it was a good trade. Coolio. Closed. All right. So reflection. Was looking at gold early in the session, but after this last move, I'm no longer willing to follow. Need 60 minutes to reaccumulate. Yep, okay. Was thinking about entering AVAX as well, but decided not to, as to not have double risk on a leveraged BTC bet. Makes sense. One crypto trade at a time. Yes, well, actually no. And that's what I'm going to get into for the next trade, I believe. But one crypto trade at a time. Now, this rule actually saved me from a -1, I believe. But it also prevented me of getting a +5, which I will get into. Nothing really set up except for Aster trade, which I took and left running overnight. Yep, okay. So this was all good. Beautiful. So coming in Wednesday, some red news in the morning. That's all gone. Okay. So I was watching Gold, NAS, Aster, Mantle, and Stable. Yep. Okay. So these are the contexts. Most definitely beautiful context. This one as well. Big stage 2 move, reaccumulates, some kind of resistance broken, right? Stage 1 out, and here we are in MMB 1, I believe. Well, I'm not entirely sure. Now, overall, as a context, this most definitely makes sense. Yeah. But maybe this entry was actually not that good. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I like the context. So I have one trade here, and it's a trade on crypto. So by the way, this was perfect. Perfect. All right. Moving on. Here is a crypto trade. So context-wise, we have a stage 2 here, right? Breaks into stage 1. Expectation is reaccumulation continuation, as always. So here we already have a stage 1 breakout. Here it pulls back and it breaks into a new high over here. So let's take a look. Oh, it didn't break into that yet. Okay, I see. It didn't move into that. Makes sense. So what do we have here? We have a strong stage 2, breaks down, stage 1, continuation here, right? So this stage 2, most definitely very strong. And if it reaccumulates, I'm willing to follow it. So here it breaks into the newest high, and this is the lowest point of the sell-off. So as long as this level holds, I am more than happy to follow this. So here it goes higher. I wonder, maybe I could have entered this. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I wasn't there. Yeah, I probably wasn't there for that time, right? I mean, yeah, it's a 30-minute chart, so probably this setup was not available to me, but normally I would be willing to take this. But yeah, here it continues, but it comes back down, holds the demand zone, and from here it moves higher. So this most definitely makes sense as context. I expect this is the last possible time where it can make a big move. So here I'm following that move, right? And what do we have? We have a strong move from here that does, well, what is this? This is probably, what is this? Is this a stage 1 over here? This is MMB 1 and this is MMB 2? Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it is. And if this is MMB2, then this is most definitely a valid setup. This was a perfect entry. So actually, this is very nice. This is a very, very good trade. And the reason why I didn't take it, well, I'll get into that. But here, this is definitely good context. Okay. This is strong momentum. No, not strong. Good momentum. Gotta be consistent with these labels. And here, perfect entry. Yep, this is exactly the area where I want to enter. And what happens here? Let's take a look. So I didn't take this because I'm already in Aster, one crypto trade at a time. I see. Maybe and here is the key part that makes a little, it's an additional rule to my system. Maybe I could take a second if my first is already risk-free, something to think about. And yes, most definitely I can do that. I already have I have a rule that allows me to have two trades on the same market, right? I can even have three if the previous trades are risk-free. What's important is that I do not have doubled risk on the same asset or on the same category. And when it comes to crypto, I like to trade it like one risk at a time because any altcoin that I take is basically a leveraged beta play on Bitcoin. And if I open two trades on two altcoins at the same time and Bitcoin takes a dump, both of those trades will most likely take a dump, and I will take double losses for no reason whatsoever. But if the first one is already risk-free, I can most definitely take another one, just like I could take another trade on Aster if needed. So I definitely should have taken this trade, and I know from now on that's important. What's unfortunate is that this is with real schmeckles and not just not demo schmeckles because I trade crypto with my own money, and yeah, I could have made 5R, which would have been super nice. But yeah, I missed it, but it's okay. It was something that I wasn't fully conscious about and that I didn't have defined for myself, but now I do. I wrote down that rule. It's on the top of my rule list right now to remember me, and this should not happen again. So I'm not going to be harsh with myself by saying, oh, I made a mistake. I didn't. It's okay, but there is a lesson here. So anyway, this would be risk-free after this move. Could have probably been after the first move already, to be quite honest, and moves very quickly to +5. So that was beautiful. So entry was perfect. Validation, I think validation was just good momentum. Yep. And context was, yep, good. So overall, this was perfect and was a win. And the decision, well, uh, what am I going to say about this? I'm just going to say good because it's not a mistake that I didn't take it. You know what? I'm going to label it as a mistake because ultimately it is a mistake. I'm just not going to be harsh to myself, but it's important to realize that based on my optimal system that I make up, this is a mistake, and I need to have that on my mind. So, yep, mistake. Well, it's a mistake that I didn't take it, but the trade itself was definitely perfect. Yeah, and that was the last trade this week. Okay, so any reflection? Nothing all day, just waiting for the Aster trade to play out. Was on the money with STBL, but didn't take the trade or didn't take a trade because I was already in a crypto trade. But since it was risk-free, I should have taken. Oh well, new lesson. If I'm already risk-free on a crypto trade, I can take another. Yep. So that's that. Coming in Thursday, just gonna check the context what I was actually watching. So there were some news at 2:30. Cool. I was watching gold, silver, and Aster. So gold definitely in good context, but if I remember correctly, the 6 minute looked absolutely horrible, so I didn't trade anything. And silver didn't. I would have been looking for 6 minute entries, but nothing presented. And this is Aster. Yep, it went to like 4.7, and then it broke down. And I think I was looking for here to maybe see a stage one and a breakout higher. I could technically follow with another position, but nothing set up. And Friday, yesterday, so there was some news at 2:30. Okay, I was watching gold. Yeah, same stuff. I was watching exactly the same stuff, but again, 6 minute on both gold and silver were trash. And this is, what is this? Yeah, here Aster started forming a stage one. So if this started breaking higher, I could watch for an entry, right? But ultimately, nothing set up. And that's it. That is it. So now I will go to analysis over here and I'm going to check out how this week looked like. So I'm down 3.8 overall. I actually need to fill it out over here as well. So there was this crypto trade on September 23 at 1405, which ended up being a break even, I believe. Yep. So minus 0. No, no, no. I write just 0. Okay. And commissions. Commissions end up being 0.8. Minus 0.8. Bruh. Minus 0.8. Okay. Make that yellow. So overall, this week I'm down 3.8. Last week I was up 3.6. Now I'm down 3.8. So yeah, pretty much deleted all of the profits from last week. But most importantly, I didn't make any mistakes. That is so important. Like, yeah, I made that one little thing where I didn't take a trade that I could have, and if I did, I would be up +1. That would be nice. But it's okay. I believe it's a valuable lesson, and I believe I will not make that mistake again. Most importantly, so overall, I'm very happy. I'm very happy because what went well was I made no mistakes, and that's huge. That's enormous. Literally, I'm actually really really proud. I wonder if those NAS 100 trades, if I would be able not to take them, because I didn't take them because I wasn't trading, right? I was driving. But had I been home, I wonder if I would have skipped them. And if yes, that would be great. But honestly, the way I know myself, maybe I would still take one of them. I'm not entirely sure. But whatever. I didn't make any mistakes. That's awesome. So what went bad? Got a little emo after 3 losses. Yeah. That is probably the only thing that I would say. Otherwise, I didn't make any losses. So results minus 3.8. Results had I traded perfectly. So if I go into perfect week here, oh, not 40. What the fuck? 39. Okay. Had I traded perfectly, my results would be +1. Cool. So what kind of mistakes did I do this week? Yeah, just a mistake that I didn't take. Okay, so missed valid trade, and that's it. Awesome. So that is all. I'm not sure if there's a necessity to say anything else. I'm just going to reiterate it again. I'm actually proud that I made 0 mistakes. I made zero, 0 mistakes, which is amazing and quite rare. There are not many weeks where I make 0 mistakes. So this is great. I'm going to reward myself somehow for it today to reinforce this. And I'm going to try to stick to this kind of mindset for the next weeks as well. My main goal is to be able to write this at the end of the week. This is exactly what I need. If I manage to do this, I will be successful. Pretty much 100%. So that's that. Yep. That's all for this week, I guess. Very happy. Okay, as always, if this sparks any ideas in you or any thoughts, feel free to shoot me a DM or tag me in Trade Talk. I'm always happy to talk about trading. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.